Sad news, Jana Duggar shares heartbreaking family reunion shock. Family reunions are supposed to be sacred moments, times when scattered lives come together under one roof, when laughter echoes in familiar rooms, and when the bonds of kinship remind everyone that, despite distance and time, love remains the anchor. But for Jana Duggar, the eldest daughter of the Duggar family, what unfolded at her recent family reunion was nothing close to the joyous celebration she had long imagined. Instead, it was a heartbreaking experience that revealed the painful fractures within her once inseparable family, leaving her shaken and emotional in ways she could no longer keep hidden. For years, Jana has been the quiet backbone of the Duggar household. While siblings married, started new lives, and sometimes drifted apart, Jana remained the one who held things together. She was there through birthdays, milestones, and crises, often taking on the role of caretaker and peacemaker. So when the opportunity for a full family reunion finally came, she entered it with cautious optimism. In her heart, she hoped this gathering would be a chance to reconnect, to mend broken relationships, and to revive the sense of unity that had once defined the Duggars in the public eye. But what awaited her was a sobering reality that no amount of optimism could soften. Walking into the reunion, Jana was met with hugs, warm smiles, and the laughter of nieces and nephews, whose energy brought fleeting joy. For a moment, she allowed herself to believe this was what she had hoped for, a room filled with the love of family. But as she scanned the faces around her, her smile began to fade. The absences were undeniable. Certain siblings, ones she had desperately longed to see, were not there. Their empty chairs carried more weight than words ever could. It wasn't just their absence, it was what it represented. Unresolved conflicts, lingering wounds, and choices that had carved invisible walls between people who once promised to stand side by side no matter what. Jana's voice trembled as she later recounted the moment. She had prepared herself for the possibility that not everyone would come, but the reality hit her harder than she anticipated. To see siblings avoiding the gathering altogether, to know that silence had replaced what was once unconditional closeness, left her shaken. It was not just the physical absence that hurt. It was the emotional message it carried. Some had moved so far away, not just in miles but in spirit, that the reunion was no longer enough to bridge the gap. For Jana, the eldest sister who had given so much of her life to keeping the family whole, the realization was devastating. And then there were the tensions within the room itself. Families often carry unspoken pain into reunions, hoping that smiles and polite conversation can mask the fractures beneath the surface. But Jana could feel it. She described the air as heavy, charged with unspoken words. Some siblings kept to themselves, others avoided lingering too long in conversation, and a quiet undercurrent of division seemed to ripple beneath every interaction. There were moments when laughter rang out, but even then, Jana could not shake the sense that something was broken, that the unity she remembered was gone, perhaps forever. What makes Jana's confession so powerful is her willingness to expose the vulnerability that she has often hidden from the public. She has long been seen as steady, dependable, and strong, rarely speaking about her own struggles. But in sharing this heartbreaking experience, Jana showed a side of herself that many can relate to, the daughter, sister, or friend who carries the weight of hope only to watch it crumble in the face of painful reality. In her story, countless viewers saw their own experiences reflected. Those moments when family, once the source of strength, becomes the source of sorrow. The painful shock of this reunion was not just about who was missing or who avoided conversation. It was about the dawning realization that time does not heal all wounds. Jana admitted that she had hoped time apart would cool tempers, soften hearts, and make reconciliation easier. But the reunion revealed that silence and distance had only deepened the divides. Old conflicts still lingered, misunderstandings still cut deep, and for some, the will to reconnect simply wasn't there. It was a sobering lesson, one that Jana confessed she will carry with her for years to come. Yet even in the midst of heartbreak, Jana found glimmers of light. She spoke about the joy of watching nieces and nephews play, of hearing children laugh in the same house that had once been filled with her own childhood memories. She described moments of genuine love and warmth shared with siblings who did attend, moments that reminded her of the beauty that still exists within her family despite everything. These small fragments of love became her anchor in a reunion that otherwise left her deeply wounded. Jana's heartbreak is not just her own. It echoes the struggles of families everywhere. Many who heard her words admitted they have felt the same sting, walking into a family gathering hoping for closeness, only to feel distance, rejection, or the weight of unresolved pain. That is why Jana's story resonates so deeply. She is not just a member of a famous family. She is a human being whose experiences mirror those of countless others. Behind her tears is a universal truth. Family can be both the greatest source of comfort and the deepest source of sorrow. In her quiet but steady way, Jana also reminded those listening that even in pain, hope can survive. She spoke about choosing to hold on to the good moments, however small, and about her determination not to give up on the possibility of healing. While she acknowledged that not every relationship can be mended, she still believes in love's ability to endure, even in fragments. Her faith in small acts of kindness, in shared moments of joy, and in the resilience of love offered a glimmer of hope amid the sadness. The shock of Jana Duggar's family reunion is not just a story about one event. It is part of a larger, ongoing narrative of a family navigating change, loss, and the struggle to stay united under the weight of public scrutiny and personal conflict. For Jana, it was a heartbreaking reminder that family reunions do not always bring healing, that sometimes they reveal just how far people have drifted. But it was also a reminder of her own strength, her ability to face disappointment with honesty, and her refusal to let heartbreak erase her hope. For the many who have followed Jana's life, this sad news is more than just a headline. It is a window into the deeply human side of a woman who has spent much of her life in the shadow of her family's fame. Today, she is not just the eldest Duggar daughter, the quiet caretaker, or the steady anchor. She is a sister who longs for reconciliation, a woman who feels the sting of absence, and a human being learning how to carry heartbreak while still holding on to hope. And as her story continues to unfold, one thing is certain: the shock of this reunion may have left Jana wounded, but her honesty and courage in sharing it have turned her pain into something more than personal sorrow. It has become a voice for anyone who has ever walked into a room expecting love and found silence instead. For anyone who has ever held out hope for healing and discovered how fragile that hope can be. Jana's story is heartbreaking, yes, but it is also deeply human, a reminder that even in sorrow, we are not alone. Thanks for watching.